Alright guys, welcome back. Today I have a video of Fernando Reis, the Brazilian super heavyweight. I just got done doing a podcast with him, which you may well have listened to or watched at this point, but while I was talking to him, I was kind of reminded by the fact that I actually have a training session from him. A session that I'm not necessarily sure I'll put up on the main YouTube channel, but it would be a real shame if none of this was released. I'll probably put the 180 snatch up on the Instagram at some point to get that one out to the masses, but I figured I might as well put this one up here, might as well do a commentary over the top and just do a little bit extra for you guys as a thank you once again for supporting Weightlifting House. So, Fernando Reis, I'm sure most of you, all of you, know who this guy is at this point. He's a Brazilian super heavyweight. He snatched 201 kilos internationally, that's his international PR, back in 2018. That same year, he clean and jerked 242 kilos. In 2016, that was the first time he hit the 240 kilo mark in the clean and jerk. Then his best ever total, 440 kilos from 2017. But he's battled a bunch of different injuries. It's his knee, I believe, that's been bugging him. But at this competition, this is the 2019 World Championships again, and he was in pretty good shape here. He didn't actually end up performing as well as he could have. I think he snatched 192 at the World Championships and clean and jerk somewhere in the low 30s, but still, you know, over 95% of his competition bests. Okay, so let's see, where's he at? 100 kilos he's just done. He is, of course, a 3 times Pan Am Games champ, and he's a 3 times Pan Am Championships champ. And that same year when he did the 242 clean and jerk with a 440 total, it's just a 242 clean and jerk. He ended up placing 4th at the World Championships, which is actually his highest placing at a World Championships. So 120 on the bar, makes the usual super heavyweight jumps, 100, 120. One of those supers who, you get this less I think amongst the supers, who really kicks his heels. Like, he actively flexes at the knee after extension to close the angle of the knee, and then he extends again, slams him onto the floor. It's the same thing that Amyon Chol does. It's the same thing that even someone like Griff Harris does a little bit.
It's 100 kilos.
But then you can see he starts making bigger jumps, which I always find strange when you make a small jump and then you make a bigger jump later on, like 100 to 120, and then you'd think 140, but he just goes straight to 150 because he's so strong. But this is basically, we lost it. Okay, we don't have the 150, straight to 170. I'm not sure what happened there. So 85%. So he clearly went 50, 70 after this. Maybe another bigger lift was happening somewhere. I had to run and get that instead. I'm not quite sure. This is now, 9-10 months ago. Beautiful 170. And Fernando currently works in Florida with Hybrid Performance, which you guys might not know Hybrid because obviously they're not a weightlifting brand, but you probably do know the names Steffi Cohen or Hayden Bowe. Hayden Bowe actually used to be involved in weightlifting years ago with Travis Mash Elite, way before he then became, a very good powerlifter in his own right, and presumably married or dating Steffi Cohen, who's again an all-time world record holder in powerlifting, and they own Hybrid Performance, and Fernando is their weightlifting sort of performance coach, which is pretty cool. But Fernando trains 6 days a week, twice on a Monday, twice on a Tuesday, twice on a Wednesday, once on a Thursday, twice on a Friday, once on a Saturday. So 2-2-2, 1-2-1. Then he takes Sunday completely off. Not sure. I mean, a lot of the guys that we talked to on the podcast who are at this kind of elite level, they normally do 2-1-2, 1-2-1, something like that. So quite why he does the 2-2-2 in a row, I don't know. Maybe he just gets in a lot of accumulation of work at the start of the week. Takes that Thursday as a bit of a deload. Friday goes heavy, max out Friday. It's international at this point. Everyone's got to do it. And then come Saturday, he maybe goes heavy again with strength lifts or something like that, and then takes Sunday completely off. Not entirely sure. The podcast was great, and we spoke a lot about, what it's like competing with some of the top guys, what the come up was like and all of that, but we didn't get massively into his training, program, what he trains, how he trains. So I think we might do another episode to do that. We'll talk a little bit more about his 2-2-2, 1-2-1 split. Alright, so this is 180. This is his heaviest lift from this training session in the snatch, right on 90%, or a fraction under 90%, 201. This is 180. and a very, very fast super heavyweight. The feet help, they make it look a little bit quicker than it is, but he's a very fast super heavyweight. There we go, easy. And this was on the 20th of September, and he competed on the Friday, I want to say it was the 29th of September. In fact, I can check that very quickly. He competed on the 27th of September, so this is 1 week out. So I guess this is the heaviest that he went on the snatch within that final week, 90%. I think in the clean and jerk there was a later session where maybe he might have done 215, something like that. But he goes right up to 205, which, considering his best is 242, that is, what is that, like 85%? Pretty much on the dot. So 85% on the clean and jerk for this session. Final heavy-ish session, I suppose, he had before the competition. And for those of you who didn't watch the podcast, I thought it was interesting how, he said that his favorite weightlifters ever are Kazimir Akayev, of course, the Russian heavyweight. He was a 105. He beat Klokov in 2011. He's got one of the heaviest training hall totals of all time, 210, 245. 210, 245, which actually, if he'd done in competition, would be the second highest Sinclair of all time. He picks him. He picks Chigashev, who has actually the top. I think Chigashev has the 5th highest snatch Sinclair ever, 211 weighing something like 119 or something, which is crazy. And then Dimas, and it's just kind of interesting how, these guys don't move well. I mean, they're all incredibly accomplished, but no one should want to, snatch like Dimas or clean like Dimas. As amazing as he was, he's not got the technique that's going to work for most people. Same with Akayev, same with Chigashev, and then you look at someone like Fernando, he actually moves beautifully. He's got, troubles with his rack position, but that just comes with, I guess, his size. But he moves so well, and it's funny, you always tend to like the people who lift slightly different to you. Like, I love Simon Kalecki because of his jerk, because I have such troubles locking out and getting that back knee down beautifully. And then I look at Kalecki and he does it so well, so I like watching him. And I think Fernando has that in him to some extent. He also said that he just likes the attitude a lot, which I really respect. I mean, the attitude of those guys, he told that great story on the podcast of Akayev. After a major competition, there's like a ball, basically. Everyone comes down, they eat, they celebrate. I've been to a few of them, they're a lot of fun. And the story of Akayev after winning, he was basically the baddest lifter at that competition. He just killed it. Beat the most jacked weightlifter in the world, Klokov. And he walks down in his Russian tracksuit and he opens the door and everyone turns to look at him. And he sees everyone having fun. He just walks away. Which I just think is such a crazy story. I love that. Anyway, here's 185. Cleans it nicely. Nice low elbows for the jerk and just powers it up over his head. Really nice lifter. Again, has some problems with the rack position. He said that in the past, I think he used to think that he had weak legs, but it wasn't that. It was more that he just couldn't rack the bar properly. So it would get on his rack position, and then he'd try and stand up, and he'd just end up dumping it forward, and invariably missing it. And it wasn't for lack of leg strength. It was very much the old, problem that Glenn Pendlay had or Shane Hammond had. A lot of these bigger guys, when they switch to weightlifting, that they can squat a ton and then they try and catch a clean in. Either they do a bit more of a powerlifting stand-up, the knees shoot back, the hips go back and the chest drops, or they just don't have the rack position. So they have the legs under them to get it up, but the legs don't stay under them. The legs move back and the bar dumps forward. So here's another Brazilian weightlifter whose name escapes me. 96 kilo lifter, I think. There's Fernando yelling something in Spanish. I was about to say Russian there. Definitely not Russian. Yells something in Spanish. And then this, his heaviest clean and jerk of the day. 205 kilos. Crazy to think that a couple of days before we saw Lasher snatch more than this in the training hall. But not everybody's Lasher, and sometimes 205 for a clean and jerk is heavy enough. Plus, to be fair, Fernando Reis is the strongest weightlifter of all time from the Pan American region. And in terms of strong, I mean the strongest weightlifter, not the strongest person who does weightlifting. Shane Hammond is certainly stronger physically than Fernando Reis. I mean, he back squatted 460 kilos when he was 19 years old. But Fernando Reis is the strongest weightlifter ever, and has, of course, all the Pan American records at 201, 242, 440. So anyway, that's Fernando Reis. That's this little cheeky session that I filmed that I thought I'd put up on here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think he then finished off with some pulls. Nothing particularly exciting. I think he went up to 245, which is, I guess 102%. There it is, 102% of his best clean and jerk, just getting it in, making sure he feels like he can get under it, 7 days later. I'll catch you guys next time.